everyone, welcome to Hemel Hempstead and the StormDome. It is first against second, the unbeaten Hemel Storm taking on second placed Reading Rockets. A fantastic occasion in front of a sellout crowd here in Hemel. Good evening everyone, John Hobbs, Lindsay Cleary of the Brent Bulls alongside me. And Lindsay, a huge contest tonight, 1v2, where really anything can happen. These two teams have got one win against each other this season.
Yep, I am excited to be here today and watch this competitive battle between these two teams. They've split evenly the last couple times they've seen each other, so today should be a good fight between them.
Absolutely, and we caught up with the two head coaches before today's game. Hemel Storm coach Mark Clark, but first, Reading Rockets coach Samet Nurizadeh. So Samet, a big game tonight, stakes really high. Your thoughts going into this contest?
As you said, it's a big game. They've got a track record to defend, and I don't think losing to us today they're not gonna hurt in the league. But us being at second, we have to win this game. It's important.
And for you guys, you lost last week against Milton Keynes. What has been the mentality going into this game?
We've had a great practice week this week. We analyzed our Milton Keynes game and we made a few mistakes, bad mistakes. Hopefully we're not going to make them.
Good luck tonight, coach. So coach, big game tonight. Do you think that a win tonight could put not just one hand but a couple of fingers on that league title, or are you not even thinking that?
I'm going to say no to that, because while it's not our league title until it's our league title, and there are not just Reading they're a really, really good team. They're a great team in some ways, but there's other good teams we've still got to play. We're still going to go to Bristol, they're a good team. We're still going to go to Cavaliers, they're a good team. There's plenty of places where we have to show up. So until it is a mathematical certainty, that's all that matters.
And for you, what has been the mindset going into this game? 1v2, it's a big game. What has been the mindset in training?
Well, I think the mindset's always about what we can do and can control. We didn't do a great job at containing the ball in the cup final. We got to contain the ball. We did a great job when we went to Reading at getting into transition and getting the ball where we wanted it early. That's what we got to do. We've got to control what we can do. But it's like every big game, no one's going to be loose. So if you play enough defense, you've got a chance to win.
Final question, obviously you were a big part of the GB setup for many, many years. Both the men and the women have qualified for Eurobasket. I know the focus is on tonight's game, but what does that result mean for British basketball in general?
It's massive for British basketball. There are plenty of countries around Europe that don't have both their countries qualified. I mean, Eurobasket is the toughest continental championship to qualify, and we've got both our teams there. I have no idea why press officers in Basketball England or anything else aren't singing this from the rooftops. I haven't seen enough. I know everyone moans about various organizations not covering it. Why don't we cover it ourselves? Why don't we put it out there in front of everybody that is into the game anyway, and not moan about those that don't do it? We should be doing more for ourselves. I mean, it's just a great job. I'm so pleased for Mark Studel. I brought him into the national team program years ago, and he has been amazing in that job. It's such a tough job. And obviously with Anna's first time with the GB women, it's so good we got both teams in there. We should be making so much of that situation.
Thank you very much, coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mitch Clark, obviously one of the leaders of the team, but Justin Hopkins has also had a fantastic season as well.
Yeah, I think those are definitely going to be two players that Hemel is paying strong attention to. We can't forget Victor O'Leary as well. He's had a couple good standout games, especially in his first performances against Hemel in the National Cup final. He had a really good game against them.
So actually we're going to the Hemel Storm roster first. The Reading Rockets we'll talk about in just a second. But Hemel Storm, obviously, Trent Mockman had a good game in the National Cup final. It came to nothing because Reading got the victory that day. Hakeem Siller, a huge return for the Hemel Storm. What kind of impact do you think he will play today, and the other players in that roster as well?
He's definitely got some size to bring into this game. It would be a big rebounding battle today, I think. Some big impact players for Hemel inside. As well, Jack Burnell, he didn't have too many minutes against them the last time they faced up against each other, so there's some potential for some faces to come in here and make a difference in this game today.
Let's get the starting fives for the two teams, as Hemel will be rocking with Trent Monkman, Sam Newman, Tremichael Motton, Darian Nelson-Henry and Matt Ellis. There is the Reading team. They'll be led by Mitch Clark, Zane Porman, Victor Olarerin, Tyner Sangu and Justin Hopkins. Referees for today's game are Luke Doe, James Molyneux and Benz Silvagi. A near sellout crowd here at the StormDome. Thank you everyone for joining us on the Basketball England YouTube channel. First against second here in this one. And a good warm-up for you as well, Lindsay, as you've got a game tomorrow with the Brent Bulls.
First
and
versus second as well.
That's a first v second as well, yeah, against Ipswich. A big encounter for you guys.
It is a big weekend this weekend. A good test for our team tomorrow, for sure.
It's a 1 in a million weekend, you could say, in the NBL for both the women and the men. It is first v second here in Hemel, third v fourth, 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th also happening tonight. And tomorrow it is first v second in the WNBL. So it's a really, really strange 1 in a billion, you could say, weekend of basketball across the NBL as the starting fives start to come out. You can see Samit Nurazadeh just giving some last second instructions to his team. And Lindsay, one thing I was talking to former Hemel coach Drew Spinks earlier today, and one thing he was telling me was that Reading were relentless in Manchester in the National Cup final, and they had a game plan. What do you think the game plan will be here tonight against this undefeated Storm roster?
I think it's going to come down to every possession needs to be intentional, right? We can't have shots just going up. Reading's going to look to run the ball. They did really well against Hemel in the Cup final. They had 25 points off fast breaks. That made a big difference in the game against them the last time. So I think they'll look to run the ball.
Hemel shot 56% from the field when these two teams met at Loddon Valley in the league. Of course, Hemel came away with a 100-94 win on that occasion in November. A Hemel win tonight, no doubt, will almost solidify their one hand and a couple of fingers on that league title. However, Mark Clark, the head coach, as you heard, is not thinking about that. He's just taking it game by game. There is a tough stretch for the Hemel Storm, but they do have a couple of games in hand on Reading. And Hemel get the first possession of this contest as Nelson-Henry goes inside and scores. First possession, first score for the Storm. Here is Olarerin. Olarerin, the burst of speed off the window.
They really looked to get that mismatch there, setting those screens, so Victor was going up against Nelson-Henry in that last possession.
Olarerin, who's slotted into the starting five for the Rockets over the last couple of weeks. Monkman nearly lost the ball, still has it at the top. Motton. Shot clock is at 5 for Tremichael Motton. Step back shot, misses everything. On the follow though was Ellis to pick it up. Good start from both teams here. Olarerin on the catch and shoot, no hesitation. And that shot is long and Ellis comes up with it. Motton, no hesitation on his end, but he misses the three. So both teams just feeling each other out from the perimeter. Porman. Zips it to Hopkins. And Mitch Clark will reset. Shot clock is at 8. Bit of a mismatch here as Clark drives at Nelson-Henry. A pull-up jumper is pure. And at the other end, Darian Nelson-Henry lost the ball. It will be a Reading ball. see on the replay there, well, somewhat on the replay. Here is Clark. Porman. Backing down Monkman, going inside. And a foul is called. Mark Clark wanted a travel, but a pushing foul has been called by referee James Molyneux. Tied at 4, 2 minutes and a bit of change played in this first period. Here is Hopkins to Olarerin. Mitch Clark dancing to the foul line, kicks it out, the extra pass, Hopkins along the baseline.
Reading is moving the ball really fast here. I think it's getting them some good looks. They're not focused on trying to get the ball inside and worry about going up against Nelson Henry. They're focused on keeping the ball on the outside.
And Monkman long with his 3, ball goes out of bounds. And the Hemel Storm shooting 2 for 5 from the field to start after getting their first couple of shots. It's been a bit of a slow beginning after those first 2.
They've had a couple good looks. They have some strong offensive rebounders here, so they'll try to make a difference there if those shots aren't going in.
Here is Clark with 8 to shoot. Kicks it out, and Porman shoots a 3.
That is a good start for Reading right here. They're going to start to feel a bit more comfortable. Hemel's looking to shoot some quick shots to keep up pace with the score difference that's happening right now.
Shot clock is at 9 for Nelson Henry. Bundles his way for 2. And it's 6 to 9 in favor of the Rockets.
This first quarter serves to make a statement for the rest of the game. You know, even at the end of this quarter, the score difference could be the difference between what happens at the end of the game. So the pace that gets set right now with this score could create a lead that is not returnable for the other team. So every possession here matters.
First v second, Hemel currently 16-0, an average win margin this season of 12.5 points. Reading second at 13-4. Here is Ellis to Nelson Henry. Nelson Henry inside and 1. Strong play from Darian Nelson Henry, muscling his way along the baseline for the 2, as we see here on the replay.
Yeah, that is a tough basket right there. Some bully ball under the basket.
Tying the Sangu's first foul. Be a fascinating encounter between Nelson Henry and the Sangu tonight. And when these two teams last met in the league, Darian Nelson Henry was a perfect 8 of 8 from the field, guiding Hemel to that win as the Sangu comes out and Simon Chamberlain checks in for the first time.
They're definitely going to be conscious of that defensive matchup right there. We don't want to get anyone, Reading doesn't want to get anyone in foul trouble too early in the first quarter here, especially only 4 minutes into the game.
Olarerin. Chamberlain gets his first touch. The leaner is no good from Clark, and the ball is batted out of bounds. And a foul has been called on Sam Newman. That's his first foul. Unsure who's going to go to the line. I think it will be Justin Hopkins. It will be. And Justin Hopkins makes the first. And what a 2025 Justin Hopkins has had, and of course started the year off getting MVP honours in the National Cup final in an absolutely scintillating performance against the Storm.
Yeah, I think 30 points was it,
yeah, 10
in the
15.
National Cup. Very impressive performance here.
And Reading retake the lead, 11-9, 5:48 left in the first. Here is Newman. Ellis. Bit of an unorthodox method of shooting, misses the 2. Olarerin to the races, misses the layup, and Newman picks it up. Motton in the corner. And Nelson Henry gets the offensive rebound. Hemel will get a second opportunity, and a foul on the floor called as referee Luke Doe in good position. Olarerin protesting his innocence. That's a first foul on Olarerin, who takes a seat, and Zeb Jasper into the game for the first time. New signing for Reading, maybe a breakout game for the American here.
He had the ball thrown off his back by Newman, looking to go for a sneaky layup underneath the basket.
Good thing you were there to spot that. Mark Clark was obstructing my view.
You know, that's one of those high IQ plays right there.
Yeah.
When your defense turns their back.
Nelson Henry to Newman, a three, splash. Here is Chamberlain. Hopkins to the rack and gets it to go. Tough move, Justin Hopkins.
As you're talking about, Nelson Henry is a big look in here for Hemel. They do really well scoring pretty spread out across the team, though. There's not one player that's going to pull all the weight for points in this game.
Nelson Henry misses everything with that three. He was 2 for 2 from downtown when these teams met in the league. Didn't really get any sort of rhythm going from outside in the cup final. Preferred his play inside. As Veronese comes into the game for the first time, Trent Monkman heads to the bench. You just feel that both teams, Lindsay, are just feeling each other out as we enter 4:47 remaining in the first, though.
Yeah, defensively, you see Hemel switching up here into more of a zone. They've got a lot more smaller players that they have to play against right now in Reading, so trying to match that speed with a zone rather than match up one-on-one.
Clark. It was a good idea looking for Hopkins, but ball heads out of bounds off a Hemel player and will be a Reading ball, 10 on the shot clock. Hopkins. Good defense there from Nelson Henry, gets the rebound as well. 7 points for Nelson Henry and 2 boards to start. Inside Ellis, the throwdown.
That's a good pass right there. He's right in the dunker spot.
Matt Ellis, so clinical under the basket. Jasper finds a bit of room, steps back, puts in a 2.
This game's going to stay close. Both teams trading baskets still in the first quarter. Still a 1-point game.
Ezzy finds Ellis. Ellis was looking for Nelson Henry. There were 3 Reading players there, but Poorman, that was a poor pass from Zane Poorman and asking too much of the very quick Zeb Jasper. As Tyner Sangu will check back into the game for the Rockets. And Matthew Dizu will counter for the Storm. Sam Newman heads to the bench. Zane Poorman goes off for Reading. It's almost like a tactical game of chess at the moment, isn't it? As we are, in the latter stages now of this first period, and both teams, as said, just feeling each other out, and you can just sense that both coaches are just playing tricks on each other to start.
Yeah, we're trying to see here with these lineups what's going to be the best matchup for this game. They isolated Mitch Clark there.
Nice pass from Clark for Nsangu. He's fouled. It was a good look from Clark, and Nsangu, it was a hard place for him to collect the ball, but he made it count, and now he'll get 2 shots at the foul line. First foul on Ellis. Tyner Sangu, 53% from the free throw line this season. Banks in the first by any means necessary, no doubt about it.
You can feel the energy in the crowd for Hemel today.
A sellout crowd here at the Hemel Hempstead Leisure Centre. And Chamberlain does well to keep it in, and Jasper, along with Clark, will reset. Clark's 4 to shoot for him. Falls to the ground, has to put it up. And Hopkins gets the rebound and puts in a 2. Where was Hemel's defense on that long board? .250 remaining in the first. Dizu. Ellis a 2 from mid-range, and Clark with the rebound. Chamberlain. Masangu still has it.
Reading's really looking for particular matchups here.
And that ball goes out of bounds. Thankfully, Mark Clark right in front of us, otherwise that would have landed right on my lap. And Reading will keep it. 18 to 16, 2:30 remaining in this first quarter. Mitch Clark, who had a triple-double in the National Cup final, on the ball. Puts up a 3, nails it.
Big shot, 4 seconds left on the shot clock after that screen.
And as the old cliche goes, the bank is open in Hemel Hempstead on a Saturday evening. As that pass from Nelson Henry asking too much of Ellis, and both teams throwing up some risky passes as well in this first quarter, and it's led to a few turnovers. Maybe simplicity might be the best thing, as a timeout has been called by Mark Clark.
I think they know getting the ball inside is going to be a big advantage for them on Hemel's offense, but they just need to be prepared that Reading is waiting for that with lots of double teams prepared for whenever the ball goes inside, so those passes aren't as easy as they might look.
Well, right now, Justin Hopkins leading all scorers with 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Darian Nelson Henry with 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting. So the main protagonists from the first quarter in the National Cup final are getting it done thus far. But as the game progresses, who do you think this will favour more in terms of stamina and execution on the floor?
I mean, I think one of the big things here is that Reading is crashing the boards really hard. That last rebound that went long for Hopkins, all of the Hemel players were in the paint. So those long rebounds, if Reading isn't getting back on defense, they're going to have an advantage here offensively, going for those rebounds and going back up, getting second chance opportunities. Hemel hasn't seen too many offensive rebounds. I think Reading's doing a good job of cleaning up the boards defensively. So that might make a big difference here. I'm not sure if it's going to be one person cleaning up or not. Hopkins got a few offensive rebounds, but other than that, I think it's got to be a team effort on the boards.
See Mitch Clark there in your picture. He had a triple-double, as said, in the National Cup final back in January. 14 points, 12 assists, 10 boards. He has 5 points and 3 rebounds to start. Right there with his fellow countryman Luke Doe. They're actually from the same area of Australia, down in Perth. There's your little known fact for the day. Portman to reset for Reading. Jasper has room, he can shoot them, and that's why.
That is a shooter I don't think you can leave open. He hasn't played too many games for the Rockets yet, but so far it's becoming apparent his role here.
Dizu misses the 3 at the other end. Zeb Jasper, 42% from downtown in his first 3 games. Here is Clark to Chamberlain, who shoots 38% from downtown, and he hits his first here.
That's going to start to pull Reading away in the end of this quarter here.
27 to 16, less than 90 seconds to go in the first. A good start for the Rockets, who need any sort of win tonight. So Ezzy inside.
Hemel's keeping their cool. They're not shaken by the lead that Reading's take.
Good defense from Akeem Silla on Clark. Clark gets by him. Portman did well to collect. Shot clock at 7. Jasper pulls up for two, and he's off the back iron. And Newman collects the long rebound, and he'll just reset it. Cross court it goes to Ezzy. Final 35 seconds of the first.
Looking for the mismatch inside.
Dizu doesn't get that three to fall, and Portman gets the rebound. Little time, just a fraction of a second or so between shot and game clock to end the first. Mitch Clark will use as much of that time as possible. A good start for this first quarter from the Rockets. Clark, the floater, is short. Ball batted around, and that ends the first period as Sam Newman's Hail Mary and then some goes right into a photographer's lap. But a good start to this first quarter from the visitors, the Reading Rockets. They are shooting 58% from the field. Justin Hopkins has 8 points, Mitch Clark has 5, and they lead the Hemel Storm 27 to 18.
A 9-point lead in the first quarter can be the difference in this game. If you look at the score breakdowns from the quarters for the last couple times these teams have played each other, it's one quarter that's really set apart, that's made that difference. The first quarter, you know, a 9-point lead, that can be hard to come back from if they're going to be scoring equally buckets for buckets in the next couple of quarters. So it's going to take a strong defensive effort from Hemel here to stop Reading on the offensive boards and getting some fast break points.
And one thing about Reading is they've been very successful shooting the ball from downtown against Hemel this season. They've hit 23 three-pointers overall against the Storm this season, and so far 4 for 5, keeping up that good form.
Yeah, they've had some really good threes here. One tough one from Mitch Clark at the end of the buzzer. The other one's a couple wide open shots that they got from some screens that they had set. So they're really looking for their shooters to create a bigger advantage in this lead that they've got. I don't know what Hemel's shooting at the moment.
44%.
They've taken some quick threes when they've come down the floor, but I don't think it's gone that way for them right now. So they might go back to trying to get the ball inside. Getting the ball into Ellis and that high post action has been pretty open for him. He just hasn't hit a couple of those shots. So if they can take advantage of that, it might bring some open up the defense a bit more on Reading.
27-18 is your first quarter score here at the Hemel Hempstead Leisure Centre. The StormDome is sold out tonight. Fantastic crowd, as always, really, in Hemel. And you had a chance to come to the StormDome a couple of weeks ago with a few of the Brent Bulls and check out the game against the Essex Rebels, and just a fantastic atmosphere in this venue, and tonight is no exception.
Yeah, it was a big crowd that game as well. Big game. It was close as well against Essex the last time that they played them, and the Hemel only pulled away in the second half.
Start of the second period, Reading on top. Hopkins to Portman.
Reading started small here.
Zeb Jasper. Shot clock is at 8. Jasper putting the moves on Silla. Step back 2 is money. And Reading continuing their good form at the moment, as that'll be an offensive foul, surely. And
Yep.
It is Zane Portman getting his body in the way.
That is a great defensive anticipation on Portman's part there. You see how he already understands that Monkman's going to go to the basket. So the only thing you can do there is really try to take a charge, because that's where he's going to go. He's not going to look to pass that ball.
Reading, one of the leaders in the NBL in taking offensive fouls, specifically charging fouls. And the man with the towel right now, Mitch Clark, one of the main instigators of taking a charge. No one knows how to take a charge better than him, as he helps the moisture technician get to work on the floor.
Yeah, in the game before this, there were quite a few slippery plays that happened. So,
of course, yeah, the University of Hertfordshire Storm and Derby Trailblazers too, in a thrilling overtime battle before this game in NBL Division 3. Derby coming out victors in that one. That was an absolutely enthralling game to watch. Here is Jasper. Again, putting the moves on Silla. has the pace, but Silla defensively gets his hands up, and now Hemel can break, but Reading so quick, get their defense set. Ezzy drives, doesn't get it to fall. Ezzy and Akeem Silla, lack of communication there, but Hemel will keep it. But good defense there from the Rockets, getting back so quickly to avoid the transition score.
You can tell they're being a lot more conscious of their fouls. No one was jumping up, slapping out the ball in that layup, focusing more on the rebounds.
Ezzy inside, late whistle, but Veron Ezzy will head to the stripe. And I think that's on Zane Portman.
That's a tough one. You're out of position. The ball gets put in bounds right under the basket.
As Victor Oloraren will check in, and Zeb Jasper will take a seat, and I think we'll see, yes we will, Mitch Clark heads to the bench, and for the first time in a couple of weeks, Lewis Champion, who's returning to the team after a few weeks out with injury. Did make it known on the Rockets' social media channels that he was going to be coming back, or hinting that he was going to come back for this game. It's good to see the veteran Lewis Champion back on the floor. Of course, someone that you know very well as well, Lindsay, in your time at Reading.
Yep, Lewis is one of those players that can come in and hit some tough shots. Right now, Reading's staying steady, holding this 10-point lead still.
Trent Monkman makes his 2 free throws. He now moves on to his first 2 points of the game. And Akeem Silla just a little too enthusiastic there, going after the ball, and Reading will pick it up.
Hemel doesn't want to make any of these catches easy.
And Jack Burnell into the game as well. He just slipped in, didn't he? He had a good Sunday afternoon last week against the London Cavaliers. 9 points, 3 of 6 from downtown. Of course, we all know Jack Burnell, a really elite three-point shooter. Champion, Hopkins to the hoop, and he gets the friendly roll. Zane Portman was there as well, but Hopkins didn't need him.
Yeah, Hemel likely looking to get some threes going for them in this quarter.
Right on cue, Lindsay, as Trent Monkman hits one from the wing.
This game can get pretty tight if Hemel starts hitting some threes here. Reading's been hot, but Hemel can just as well match that.
Only Hemel's second 3 of this game. Champion is open, and that's long. And Akeem Silla says thank you very much. Here is Monkman. Finds Newman, all kinds of space. Timeout, Samet Nurizadeh, and you can feel Hemel just getting into a bit of rhythm. That's a smart timeout from the Reading head coach.
Yeah, you might come down and think an early 3 might be a bad call for a team that's down, but right now, in this moment in the second quarter, it's a good time, especially a good look for Newman to shoot threes when he's wide open there. Reading can't slow down because they had a 10-point lead. Now it's only 5 points. Hemel's cut it down quite a bit just because they've slowed down coming out to the three-point shooters.
Hemel in a bit of a rhythm. They were trailing by 11, a quick 6-0 run from the host Sam Newman with his second 3 of the evening, as we see a few of the highlights from this quarter. And how about Justin Hopkins? What a performance he has had thus far. 10 points, 4 assists from the field. But Hemel, as you see here, getting into their rhythm inside Matt Ellis there at the right place at the right time for the putback. .750 remaining in the second quarter. Great to have you all on board on the Basketball England YouTube channel. John Hobbs and Lindsay Cleary from the Brent Bulls keeping you company this evening from Hemel Hempstead. First v second. A rematch of the National Cup final back in January. And many people also believe that these could be the 2 teams that meet in the playoff final as well in late April in Manchester. Of course, there's a few other teams that have something to say about that, as Veronese gets the rebound. Here is Newman in rhythm. And ball goes out of bounds. Only Newman's second miss from downtown.
I'm sure as his teammate you're thinking, you know, he hit the last one. You're all right with him taking that quick three again. You know, the next one maybe they'll be a bit slower in the offensive take, but it's not a bad shot.
What a pass from Olarerin and an easy finish for Poorman.
This game is going to take more than a quarter of defense.
As Jack Bonnell misses from his favourite spot on the three-point perimeter. Champion and a foul called as Trent Monkman, again a bit too enthusiastic, getting the steal as Darian Nelson-Henry checks back in and Akeem Silla heads to the bench. So far though, Lindsay, you've got to say Reading are they're doing all the steps right, isn't it? It's just a case of just keeping that momentum going.
They've been executing their looks for the matchups that they want, keeping Nelson-Henry out on the wing.
And there's a three for Champion. And Reading have restored their double-digit advantage. And the sold-out crowd at the StormDome has just silenced a little bit as Monkman goes inside. It's blocked by Nsangu. Here is Hopkins to the hoop. Beautiful footwork. No, it's not. It's a travel. It looked from here like it was good footwork, the Euro step, but referee Luke Doe in good position.
Just maybe one too many steps after he picked up the ball, but it was a good take.
But Reading have responded from their own timeout with a bit of a run themselves. And as a result, they take a double-digit advantage.
Yeah,
and Mark Clark calling the timeout, and a lot to say in that timeout as well.
Yeah, you're looking at Reading continuing every offensive or defensive rebound they're getting. They're pushing the ball quick down the floor. You're going to see Hemel's taking a few threes that haven't gone for them, and that's lost them a few possessions, allowing Reading to maximize their possessions, get their lead back up to 10.
But what's something for me is Reading, you were talking about Reading executing very well, but they've taken such smart shots, haven't they? Whereas at times Hemel have been a bit hurried with their attempts, and it reflects on the stats, because right now they're 3 from 11 from downtown, 10 of 24 overall. They've only been to the line 3 times thus far.
Nelson-Henry's been out, but he's back in now, so we might see Hemel starting to put the ball inside a bit more, but there was a period in time where they were looking just on the outside for those shots there. So I think that might be a big difference in the way their offensive is started at this quarter versus the last one. But I think those threes, they're trying to catch up to that lead that Reading had. They closed it, but then got a bit too confident on the threes that started not falling for them. So they're going to have to find another route to score right now.
Let's see if Mark Clark's timeout pays dividends, and straight away, Matt Ellis inside. 6 points for Ellis. Hopkins. Olarerin back to Champion. Champion, lovely pass, but Poorman couldn't quite hang on. But Reading's, they still have the ball as Olarerin, the floater doesn't go. And Poorman on the shot clock buzzer.
Reading is moving very well off the ball when the shot goes up, going for the rebounds, and when some other player drives, they are right in those spots for the passing lanes that the zone that Hemel's running just is 1 second behind catching up to their player.
And at the other end, defensively, they've been very, very disciplined. Just 1 team foul in this second quarter compared to 3 for Hemel. And
Nelson-Henry gets a hug.
Yeah, gets a hug from Tyner Sangu. Right in front of Ben Silvagi's face, as that's a second foul on the Sangu.
Sam is not going to take any chances there.
Yeah, absolutely, as Nsangu checks out, Chamberlain comes in. Nasangu not happy with the call, but well, we'll leave that to him, I guess. And Newman, the pass is a bit wayward. 3-on-1, Olorere in the finishing transition.
That is a hard person to catch in the fast break.
Newman, Ellis, and again a foul for Hemel, as Nelson Henry is this time held by Zane Porman. And Reading, even though they have the lead, they've got to be careful now, as they only had one team foul only a minute ago, and without, you know, in that last minute, have got 2 quick fouls to their name. And at the other end, an offensive foul has been called. Darian Nelson Henry, the guilty party, and listen to the fans.
Hopefully the basketball picks up a bit more here soon, instead of just watching fouls go back and forth. It's going to be a long quarter.
Not even halfway into the second period so far, and fouls are now piling up, especially in the last minute, getting very chippy out there. Chamberlain, Olorere, putting the moves on Nelson Henry, has the speed, goes inside, turned over, Sam Newman in good position. Burnell misses the layup.
Defensively, though, that's a good adjustment for Hemel, being a bit more active off the ball.
As Chamberlain misses the corner pocket 3, it's 2-on-1. Motton is fouled hard by Champion, and an unsportsmanlike foul has been called. See on the replay, it's a poor pass from Burnell, uncharacteristic for him. You have seen them called before. It was, I'll let you take that one.
Is it, in terms of it being unsportsmanlike?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make a play for the ball in order for it to be a regular foul, right? So didn't really get any of the ball there. I mean, he might have been a bit off balance, slowing down on that. So there's not much you can do.
And Tremichael Motton collects the freebies for Hemel. They will keep the ball.
Reading still holding in that 10-point lead.
Yeah. Fresh 14 for Hemel. 4:52 remaining in the second period.
Defensively, Hemel's made an improvement the last couple possessions. 2 steals, but they haven't capitalized on.
Burnell a 3, no. Nelson Henry is fouled as he raised over Olorere to collect the rebound. There's about a 4-inch height differential between Olorere and Nelson Henry, as Mitch Clark checks back in and Zane Porman heads to the bench. Both teams as well with plenty to say to the 3 officials in this one. Of course, the stakes are very high, first against second. Nelson Henry makes the first. 8 points for Nelson Henry to go with 3 rebounds. Quietly getting the job done. 13 points, 6 boards against Nottingham. Had 24 points, as said, against Reading back in November. Nelson Henry now on the ball. Motton, wild passing, and Hopkins with the steal, and Hopkins to the rack. (42-31). Motton misses the 2. Olorere comes up with it. Pace is quickening a little bit. Chamberlain. Clark, the extra pass, Olorere, splash!
That was a beautiful play, all the way driving from the right side, sending it all the way back around the arc for a 3.
And a foul away from the ball, and that also will go against Hemel. The foul is on Matt Ellis. As we
Didn't see quite what happened there.
No, see the replay of Victor Olorere splashing a 3. And 2 fouls now on Matt Ellis. That was away from the ball, and he will head to the bench. Veron Ezi will come in. been a good week for Matt Ellis as he led the University of Hertfordshire to a win in the Bucks opening rounds.
I haven't seen him be quite so aggressive yet on the offense.
Chamberlain pulls up and nails a 2. Everything is going Reading's way right now. They lead by 16. Nelson Henry puts in a 2.
I feel like he can do that in his sleep.
And he moves on to 10 points. First Hemel player in double figures. Hopkins slashing to the hoop, misses the layup. Newman with the rebound. 3 boards for Newman. Ezzy nails a 3. Big transition bucket for the Storm. Back-to-back points. And Samit Nurizadeh calls a wise timeout, but a good spell there in the last 30 seconds from Hemel.
There's a few shooters there that Hemel's got that they shoot pretty well from 3. Maybe they're not as hot today, but Ezzy's not one that you can leave out there open on the 3-point line. So if they're going to start to find which of their shooters are going to be hot today, then that might change their offensive strategies quite a bit.
See the highlights from the second quarter so far. Victor Olorerin in transition there with the score. He's had a good second period so far for the Rockets. He's on 7 points at the moment, but Hemel have shown glimpses, but right now Reading have been more consistent in their offensive execution, as Hemel is shooting 43% from the 4 and conversely 52% from the Rockets. It's almost the same as what we saw in the National Cup final back in January.
Yeah, I think the ball movement on the Reading side, as I was saying earlier, when someone's driving, they're doing a really good job of creeping to the basket on the weak side, moving the ball, looking for extra passes, and I think that's creating a lot more looks for them. Hemel, on the other hand, they've had a few open looks that haven't gone. They're looking to get the ball more in and out for those shots. Not so many passes off the drive for layups here. They had a few steals that they couldn't capitalize on. Reading had a few steals that they scored on, so.
Well, Reading were on an 8-game winning streak in the league until Milton Keynes Breakers ruined the party last Sunday at Loddon Valley. Chamberlain a 3, that's short, and another rebound for Nelson Henry. Newman, under 3 minutes to play in the half. Ezzy. Sam Newman a long 3, that's short. Chamberlain goes inside, kicks it out to Hopkins, who dances his way to the hoop. 1-on-1 against Darian Nelson Henry, full head of force. That's only going to end one way.
I mean, you're going to be careful about your fouls here, but at this level, I don't think you can just play stand-up defense in a fast break.
Motton, the teardrop is no good. And here comes Olorerin. Reading wanting to run in the open floor, and that's an offensive foul on Trent Monkman, or for Trent Monkman, as Olorerin was driving to the hoop.
Great play from Hemel, beating him down the floor.
Oh, sorry, that was Justin Hopkins driving to the hoop. As we see on the replay, Mitch Clark can't believe it.
How many offensive charges has that been this game so far?
That's been a couple. I think that's 2 or 3 actually that I can recount.
Looking to get the ball inside. Hopkins playing some tough defense on Nelson Henry.
Monkman, what footwork, but doesn't get the 2 to go. Good defense there from Chamberlain. 1:45 remaining. Clark misses the 3. Goes off the back iron as Motton falls to ground. Newman helps him out. Eze to the rack. Too strong. And Monkman and Clark were battling for it. Canada against Australia there, as Monkman will head to the bench. That's a 3rd foul on Monkman, and Matthew Dizu will check back in, as will Matt Ellis.
Both teams on 5 fouls now.
Yeah. Darian Nelson-Henry comes out. As you mentioned, Lindsay, both teams now in the penalty. So Mitch Clark will head to the charity stripe, an 86% foul shooter for the season, averaging 17 points a game, and he makes the first. Clark makes the second, one of only 3 Reading players to start all games this season.
He's a crafty point guard.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's not scared to shoot the threes, even especially if they've got a comfortable lead now in that other possession. You know, he's coming off looking to shoot or drive and dish. Also, I think might be leading the team in assists as well.
Ezzy.
Great
Stolen
hands.
away from Chamberlain, yeah, great hands. And the other way, Olarerin again. Having fun out there is Victor Olarerin.
That's his bread and butter right there.
Newman, Ellis, and Ellis is fouled. Lewis Champion immediately has his hand up, and referee James Molyneux acknowledges that.
I think those are the types of plays that Hemel's going to get back into this game with. The slower possessions that they've had, they've been moving the ball. They haven't been attacking the defense in that way that they just did, giving it to another player who then is attacking the defense, keeping Reading on their feet. Maybe it gets them to a foul call, maybe it gets them to a layup, but...
Zeb Jasper checking back in for Reading. Akeem Silla will check in as well for the Storm as Tremichael Motton comes out.
I can't remember one of my coaches, her recipe was drive, kick, shot. So you got to get, you know, if you're not going to get the ball inside, you got to have at least 2 drives before you get a shot, something like that here.
Of course, it does help as well to make your foul shots, and that's only Hemel's second miss from the charity stripe tonight. Now 6 of 8. Matt Ellis, who is 71% from the stripe this season, hits the second. Here is Clark. Defense the cry for the Storm. And that'll go out of bounds. I think Clark wanted a foul on Ellis, and Ellis responds with a bit of enthusiasm on his end. Another whistle
warning
has
on
gone.
Clark.
I think, yeah, that's a warning exactly on Mitch Clark.
I think it's actually a technical if you flop as well.
Yeah, as we see on the replay, maybe Mitch Clark just asking a bit too much there of a foul.
I mean, the refs are pretty happy to give out the fouls in this game, so it's not a crazy thing to think that you could get one right there as well.
35 seconds left in the second. Newman. And that came off a foot, so Hemel will get it back in a 14-second shot clock, 28.7 seconds left in the half. As members of that University of Hertfordshire Storm Division 3 team look on right where Matthew Dizu is. Here is Newman. 10 on the shot clock for Silla. Silla inside, that's tough from him, and he will go to the line. And it's certainly great to see Akeem Silla back into the NBL folds. You see the replay of him driving and Chamberlain committed with his feet in the air. But a guy who averaged 22 points, 8 boards this season, good to see him back. He made his home comeback earlier in the month against Derby to a raucous ovation. And his family here in attendance tonight as the both sets of players from Rockets and Hemel having a few words to say with the officials.
Yeah.
Cheeky smile on your face as well.
How do you gotta think about it as a coach? You're thinking about you got to keep the competitiveness alive in your players. You don't want them to tone that down, but at the same time, you got to be cautious with the foul counts, and we're not even into the second half yet.
Well, the shot clock is now off, and Reading will try and hold for the final possession of this half. Clark. Still has the ball, final seconds of the second, throws inside, good defense from Akeem Silla, and that ends the first half. In fact, actually, a foul has been called.
He called a foul.
He called a foul.
That was after that was a pretty late call.
Well, Luke Doe and James Molyneux were just having a chat. It was Molyneux who called it. 0.3 of a second have now been added on to the clock, as we see here. Luke Doe now having a chat with the table. Ignore the fact that coffee has just been planted on the table for me and Lindsay. But as there's Mitch Clark, who was driving to the hoop. And they will call they will call a foul and 2 shots. 0.3 of a second left in the half, and that's a second foul, on Akeem Silla. So what an ending to the half here for Rockets. Mitch Clark to the stripe, misses the first though. You can hear the drums, you can hear the noise, you can hear the horns. Mitch Clark buries the second though. As Burnell, that would have actually counted. It did leave his hands before the horn, but it was off. And a good first half for the Reading Rockets. They are shooting 51% from the field. Justin Hopkins, with 14 points of 6 of 9 shooting, has led the Reading Rockets to a 54-37 half-time lead. An even spread on the first half there, Lindsay, for the Rockets. For the Hemel Storm, shooting 37% from the floor. Darian Nelson-Henry flirting with a double-double of 10 points and 6 boards. Veronese off the bench has 7, but all in all, a decent spread on the offensive side. The point spread exactly for the Reading Rockets, but nothing really else from Hemel apart from Eze and Nelson-Henry.
I think the main difference here, you can see Reading scored a lot more off of their turnovers than Hemel's had. Their defense picked it up a little bit more in that second quarter, got a few steals that they just didn't finish on. But everywhere else is pretty matched up in terms of scoring in the paint, getting offensive rebounds and second chance points. Both teams are pretty matched in those categories. So, I mean, the shooting percentages, those are going to set apart the two teams, as well as those, what did I say? Turnovers. Capitalizing on those turnovers that's happening.
Exactly
O'Leary and Hopkins are really pushing the fast break for Reading here. It's making a big difference.
Exactly what happens when a ball nearly lands right in our lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the Reading Rockets lead by 17, their biggest lead of the half. What have Hemel got in the tank in the third and fourth quarter? Join us in approximately 12 minutes time to find out here on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Hemel 37, Reading 54. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hemel Hempstead Leisure Centre, the StormDome, and right now it's not really anything but on a StormDome because the Reading Rockets have made it a bit of a breeze so far, and they lead 54-37 going into the third quarter. John Hobbs, Lindsay Cleary alongside me, and Lindsay, it's been a great half of basketball for the Reading Rockets. For Hemel, what have they got to do to try and neutralise the threat of the Rockets and try and make this more competitive? They've got it in their DNA to do so, but right now things have just not worked out that way, have they?
Well, earlier in that second quarter, we saw Hemel fire off a few threes, cut the lead in pretty close. The last time Reading had a lead close to this. So you never know if someone's going to come in hot into this third quarter, so Reading's got to be aware of that. In addition to that, at the end of the second, we kind of saw them looking at some different looks on the inside, going up, driving to the basket, getting fouls called on Reading. So if they add that a little bit more into this quarter, Reading could be put into foul trouble early on, and that might cause some difference here offensively for Hemel. So we'll see how that goes.
Seeing some of the highlights from the first half, Hemel certainly have had some good spells, but Reading have played more consistently over the last 20 minutes or so. That is why they have this 17-point lead. As we welcome you all to the Basketball England YouTube channel, great to see a lot of comments on this game, and there's a few ex-Reading players watching tonight, including one Finley Porter who used to play for the Reading Rockets. He's not actually playing this season, albeit in the local league. I heard he had a bit of an incident with the backboard a couple of weeks back in a local league game. I'll say no more about that, but he is watching on tonight. And Finley, you are allowed apparently to put a message on the YouTube comments. Apparently Lindsay's been saying you're not allowed to, but you can.
Hey, Finn.
And a bit of a break as one of the basketballs has landed on the court, so we'll reset the third quarter.
I've been told that can happen at the Hemel games every so often. You've got quite a lot of balls bouncing up there in the crowd.
Not a lot of space between the bleachers and the actual floor itself. Here is Motton to start the third. Nelson Henry. And Ellis doesn't get that shot to fall, and Portman with a rebound.
That's a lot better off the ball movement that Hemel's looking at with themselves right now.
Hopkins inside, muscles his way in for two. Biggest lead of the game, and a steal from Portman. Olarerin gets it to go, and back-to-back scores just like that for the Rockets, and they lead by 21.
They came out ready to go.
Nelson Henry flat with the hook. No foul called. Ball goes out of bounds. It will stay with the Storm. But what about that? The last 10 seconds there. Frantic offense from the Rockets and 4 very quick points. And Ellis with the easy dunk as Reading just went to sleep there. Here is Clark. Hopkins. Chamberlain goes inside, misses the two. Here is Nelson Henry to Ezzy. And Ezzy gets it deflected away, and Clark has it. Everything going Rockets' way. Olarerin puts it in. And Victor Olarerin points to the crowd.
That is a big first 2 minutes for the Rockets here starting the quarter.
Ellis, he can't respond.
Rockets running in transition.
And Chamberlain misses the two inside. Here is Ellis. And it's stolen by Clark.
Reading can afford a few of those fast break turnovers, but Hemel can't right now.
Clark to the hoop. Portman a three, no, in and out. Motton's pass deflected out of bounds by Ollererin. And a timeout has been called by Mark Clark. Unhappy with how his team has started in this third quarter, and Reading's lead has exploded, 61-39.
I mean, if you weren't looking at the score, you might think Reading is the team that was down at the beginning of this quarter, the way that their defense came in and got those steals, put their hands in on every pass.
Well, we understand we're having a few audio issues. If you can just let us know if you can hear us on the commentary. We have turned up the volume. It is very loud here at the StormDome. But right now, all the noise is coming from the Reading Rockets fans, because right now they have exploded out of the gate in this third period. A 7-2 start for them. As Michael Darlow, the assistant coach for the Storm, having a quick chat with the referee Ben Silvaghi. Rockets out onto the floor. As Newman gets the ball in bounds, and Darian Nelson-Henry can't get it, but Hemel will get the ball back. Hopefully you can now hear us as Newman gives it to Ezzy, and here is Newman. Ezzy loses the ball, ball goes out of bounds. It will stay with the Storm. Rockets wanted it to be their ball, but
9 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Nelson-Henry stolen away by Clark, all alone, the two. Everything is going Reading's way right now. Motton, a three. That would have been a much needed three. Ellis instead goes inside, and a foul. Much needed bucket, and some afters as well, as Portman and Ellis going at it. Oh, it's getting a bit physical out there now. Just how you like it, Lindsay. You like the physicality on the floor. You love the emotion.
You can tell after an N1 bucket somebody's going to be feeling themselves, right? So, you know, you can't play into that energy. They're looking to get people caught out on these ticky-tack fouls here. I think Portman can afford that right now, but going later into the quarter, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure what the call was, if they...
Well, they're just conferring with each other what the call is going to be. So the bucket is good for Matt Ellis's shot. That will count. He'll get a three-point opportunity to go. And two unsportsmanlike fouls have been called as well. Just checking who they're on.
On Ellis and Portman, I think.
So that's a first foul. In fact, one of them's on Mitch Clark.
Oh.
So Mitch Clark actually was the foul at one end. Matt Ellis at the other. So Matt Ellis will go to the line. He also has now picked up his third foul in that melee. And the other one was on Zane Portman. So the foul was on Mitch Clark. Zane Portman and Matt Ellis have been given fouls each. So early foul trouble for Hemel's leading scorer. Who's had a fantastic season so far. 16.7 boards against Nottingham. He followed that with a double-double of 25 points, 10 boards last weekend. makes the free throw, as Seb Jasper will check in and Zane Porman will head out. So Reading going small again here, Lindsay, and it's worked well for them in the second quarter. We'll see how it materializes in the third period, but right now they have a very commanding lead.
They don't look to be too stressed offensively. They can afford to take their time, use the whole possession.
Chamberlain finds Clark. Clark puts it up, doesn't get it to fall. Hopkins look to put it back, and Ellis collects up the loose change, and he moves on to 5 rebounds. Nelson Henry looking to get going, and a bit too handsy there from Victor Olorerin. And it looks like Darian Nelson Henry will go to the line. It's been a very chippy last few minutes here, as Olorerin picks up his second.
That was a really well-controlled transition there on Hemel's side. You know, they were able to get the ball inside before the double could get there for Nelson Henry. So they could actually get the ball into him this time. The last few possessions, you know, the double's already there before he's even gotten the ball.
First points of the third quarter for Darian Nelson Henry. 4 of 6 from the field, 10, 11, and 7 thus far. As Chamberlain can't hang on to the ball. Good pressure from Matt Ellis, who is urging the crowd on. And Tyne Sangu checks back in. Simon Chamberlain heads to the bench. Here is Nelson Henry. Good defense there from Sangu. Ball batted around a bit, and Mitch Clark and Sam Newman nearly ended up in the crowd.
Hemel's been struggling to get the ball in bounds.
Newman to Nelson Henry, backing down Sangu, muscles his way in, gets it at the second attempt. Way to stick with it there from Nelson Henry, who now moves on to 13 points and 8 rebounds. Olorerin putting the moves on Ellis. Good defense from Ellis, who's on 3 fouls. But Olorerin beats him for speed for 2. Olorerin feeling the need for speed on that one. At the other end, Ellis gets it to go and 1.
Hemel's starting to get some good looks inside, but they're going to need to get some stops on offense to chip away at this lead right here. 20 points still is the difference.
And Matt Ellis will head back to the foul line, where he currently is 2 of 3. He has 12 points thus far, albeit a very quiet 12 points. It's been very businessman-like for the first-year player for Hemel. Nelson Henry muscling his way inside, and he nearly got another 3-point opportunity. Instead, he will go back to the foul line. That's another foul on Sangu, and I think that's foul number 3 on the former Worthing Thunder and London Elite player.
Reading's got a few players on 3 fouls now.
So Porman and Sangu now on 3 fouls for the Rockets, as Darian Nelson Henry misses from the foul line. He struggled from the stripe at Loddon Valley back in November. Perfect from the field, but 6 of 12 from the charity stripe. He's 3 of 6 tonight. Make that 4 of 7. As Hopkins now goes to ground. Even the crowd getting a little animated, especially behind us in the where there's a lot of Hemel fans right behind us. Even they're protesting, shall we say. I was trying to find the right word for it.
Yeah, protesting. Very animated in their support.
There you go, now that's better. See, why don't I just call on you for that
Colorful support of the team here. Now is the time in the third quarter to dig in, start chipping away.
Lewis Champion checks back in for the Rockets. He was telling me just before the third quarter that his ankle is feeling good, but he's going to try and limit his play in the third period, but he's on right now as Michael Motton strips it off to Sangu. It's one-on-one. Newman round the back. That'll be a goaltend. Has a foul been called as well?
I think just the goaltend.
No, it has. A blocking foul has been called. So a goaltend and a foul. And that's a third foul on Champion as well. And a timeout has been called by Reading. Sam Newman going around the back as Nasangu whacked the backboard. That was the reason for the goaltend. And a foul before that was called on Champion. Wise timeout from Samet Nurizadeh, who has seen his team's lead been slashed from 24 to 15 in the last few minutes.
I mean, that last possession there, you can see Hemel starting to wake up a bit more on defense, force dead ball situations and go for steals. Previously, you know, they've been a bit off their player, you know, worrying about the screens, kind of helping low, but now they're a lot more up on that line, you know, a bit more of the energy of nothing to lose here on the running through the passes. So they can start to capitalize on some of those steals now and finish on the free throws. It's going to be key for them.
A wise timeout, as mentioned, from Samet Nurizadeh, and every time Hemel have had their spells, Samet Nurizadeh has wisely called a timeout, and out of those timeouts, we've seen it twice already. Reading have come out like a house on fire. Will the third time be the charm in this? Only time will tell, but still Reading have a sizable lead. As Hemel come back to the floor, as you hear the drums, you hear the horns, you hear the noise. Hemel coming back into this. They're 16-0 for a reason, but this has been the biggest test of their league resolve this season. Newman makes the free throw. Champion finds Hopkins, who's been quiet in the third. Inside, Nasangu was looking for the explosion. Hopkins still has it. Jasper is screaming for it, and a violation. 3-second call, and you can hear the Hemel fans.
Again, another really energetic defensive possession for Hemel to get a stop right here. Opportunity to score and cut that lead down a little bit more now.
Chance to cut it to as little as 11. Motton, Newman. Motton along three. No, that's long. And that'll go off Ellis last, right into the DJ's lap, right where esteemed commentator Graham Hiscock is. Even he can afford a smile. Champion. Champion still has it. Shot clock at 6. Hopkins inside. And a foul has been called, a mixture of Ellis and Nelson Henry. Two giants under the hoop. And Nelson Henry with the foul. As you could see there, he can't believe the call. That's a third foul on Nelson Henry. 3 Hemel players now with 3 fouls. Nelson Henry, the latest to join the foul trouble party. Matt Ellis and Trent Monkman, the other Hemel players, on 3 fouls.
Yeah, we have not yet seen Monkman come back into this half of the game, so.
Hopkins splashes the second foul shot. And another whistle has gone.
Reading's on team fouls.
Yeah.
They called another foul here on the.
And that's 4 fouls on Nasangu. That was away from the ball. Don't know why it's on Tyne Nasangu though.
I think they got a shove on that rebound.
Okay. That's why I have you here, really, isn't it?
I like that the refs are watching the off-the-ball plays here. It's very important.
Ellis cans the first. 3 very experienced officials tonight in Luke Doe, James Molyneux and Ben Silvaghi. As Ellis hits the second. 67-53, 4:28 remaining in the third. Jasper. Finds Champion. Champion putting the moves and is fouled hard. As
question is that before the shot?
Well, they're going to call it. They're going to call it a shooting foul, it seems. No, actually, no, you're right. It's going to be in-line possession. Champion wants 2 shots. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Basketball England YouTube channel. It's great to see so many of you watching and so many of you leaving comments. Keep them coming. First v second, and right now, second is beating the league leaders, and Lewis Champion extends the lead to 68-53. Of course, Lewis Champion coming back, first game back after a couple of weeks out with an ankle injury. Still feeling the effects, as he was telling me just before the start of the third. But still in good form. Nelson Henry on the spin, good defense from Hopkins. Newman, beautiful pass inside, Ezzy the finish.
That is some vision to see that cut there.
League leader in assists is Sam Newman. Currently now, in fact, that's his 10th assist of a game, 1 point shy of a double-double for Sam Newman. Clark goes round the screen and puts it in over Nelson Henry. Clark now moves on to 12. Motten. Ezzy on the spin. Clark stands his ground. Newman a 3, and that's his double-double.
Big 3 for Newman here.
12 points, 10 assists for Sam Newman. Hopkins, Chamberlain finds Hopkins inside. Good defense from Nelson Henry. And a foul is called on Chamberlain. That won't count.
Way to play through the whistle, though.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know if the ref is going to
Continuation can be one thing, can't it? And Sam Newman will go to the line. And that's 3 fouls on Simon Chamberlain. Reading are in the penalty.
Reading's defense definitely struggling when Hemel's able to break through that 3-point line on them.
Sam Newman, a 72% foul shooter for the season, averaging just a shade under 12 points and 8 assists a game. And Nelson Henry gets the rebound off the miss and quickly fouls Mitch Clark, and that's 4 fouls now on Nelson Henry. So Hemel's danger players inside, Matt Ellis and Darian Nelson Henry, both on 4 fouls, and we still have 2:41 remaining in the third. As Akeem Silla checks back in, and you've got to believe, Lindsay, that Akeem Silla will see extended minutes here to end the third quarter, possibly play the entire period.
Ending in the second quarter, he brought some good energy there, driving to the basket, getting the Reading players up and drawing fouls. So offensively, it could bring some momentum for Hemel to have him in the game here.
Champion puts up a 3. It was good defense from Ezzy getting up. Champion wanted a foul. Monkman, who returns to action here. Motton, and a foul has been called on Mitch Clark. That'll only be his second foul, but the fouls are mounting up here for the Rockets already in the penalty. They have Nasangu on 4 fouls, Portman, Champion, and Chamberlain on 3, so they're really piling up at the moment.
The opportunities are there for Hemel here to hit some free throws.
Well, remember, Lindsay, they trail by as many as 24 in the early stages of this third quarter. They have responded sublimely and now have reduced it to 12. They can even trim it to 10 with 2:14 remaining. We've seen Hemel in years gone by get themselves out of tough situations before. Who's to say that we're not expecting a grandstand finish? Something that I'm sure everyone on the Basketball England YouTube channel, including ourselves, would like.
There we go. There's your 10-point lead. Steal.
And a steal, and Olarerin, though, gets it back. Olarerin to the rack. Newman straight away, no good with his 3. And Mitch Clark again goes to ground, and Reading will get the ball.
I don't know how he felt like that.
As we see the replay, Olarerin 2 hands for safety with the reverse. You can see him talking to the officials as well, wanting a foul. It's very physical, this game, isn't it? As that's a first foul on Ezzy. Mitch Clark will go to the stripe.
I mean, aside from a few of those threes that Reading hit early on, most of the points right now are getting scored off of driving in, drawing fouls.
Mitch Clark, who averaged 15 points last season, misses the second, usually very reliable from the stripe. As Motton now almost goes to floor, Newman has no opportunity but to shoot and hits. Much needed 3 for Newman and for Hemel. Oh, listen to this place. Hopkins blocked by Silla.
Hopkins comes up with the rebound.
And a whistle, 2 shots, bodies on the floor. It's like a war of attrition out there right now. And that's 2 fouls, 2 quick fouls on Veronese.
Hopkins good at going back after that rebound right after he misses, you know.
Justin Hopkins, who is in his first season with Reading, a big hit with the Reading supporters, averaged 22 points with the Newcastle Knights last season. And so far tonight has been a beast inside, 18.6 rebounds. And he hits the first, looking to become the first Reading player to hit 20. He now leads the team in points. In fact, he leads all scorers with 19. You hear the noise reverberating around the StormDome, but Justin Hopkins silences them with his second make, and Matt Ullman comes into the game for the Reading Rockets as Lewis Champion takes a well-deserved seat. A good spell for him on his return from injury. No doubt we'll probably see him in the fourth as well. 1:13 remaining in the third. Here is Newman.
Reading making a slight adjustment. They don't want Newman hitting any more threes right now.
Newman nearly found Silla inside. Olarerin did well to deflect the ball out of bounds. And Mark Clark wants a timeout with 1:02 remaining. And you've got to give it to the Hemel Storm. They're a side that will never quit. Obviously, that reflects in their 16-0 record in the league, but they trailed by 24, and you could argue that it was convincingly as well. Reading was so clinical in the early stages of the third quarter and indeed the first half, but Hemel have showed tremendous resolve after going down by 24 and now have reduced the arrears to 12. It was as little as 10, but they're in this, aren't they?
They forced Reading into some frenzied turnovers early in the quarter. That Hemel defense was really getting them a good advantage, cut the lead down a bit. Bit of a spell in the middle of the quarter with some fouls going back and forth, kind of slowed the momentum down a little bit, I think. So Hemel had to come back up and hit a few big shots, keep the lead in a manageable spot for this next quarter.
76-64. Hemel, who have won all 16 games in the league this season by an average of 12 points, have no doubt faced their toughest test so far in their biggest challenge, down double figures on their home floor. Motton gets Olarerin jumping for joy and hits a three!
You've seen Hemel, they've struggled a bit getting the ball inbounds. This is one of a couple plays they've got where they've gotten a three on the inbounds play. There was one with Newman in the corner earlier.
7th three-pointer for Hemel. Hopkins loses the ball, kicks it to Ullman, who can't respond. Olarerin does well to collect. And Clark resets.
30 seconds on the clock.
5 to shoot. Clark, a three, buries it.
He is not afraid to take those shots. He had one early like that in the first quarter as well, with a low clock situation.
And just when Hemel had that spell, Clark produces wizardry from Oz. Motton, he responds! What an end to the third period. It's a 9-point game, 79-70, and you can sense it from the crowd. What a fourth quarter we're gonna have.
I mean, that lead got cut pretty quick, so I think we're looking to start, if they start the way that they started that fourth quarter, make a couple more of those steals transition into an actual make, then it's gonna be a good look for Hemel here. I think they just gotta be careful about the fouls. Both teams gotta be careful about the fouls, really.
Matt Ellis and Sam Newman each have 16 for Hemel. Sam Newman has 11 assists for his double-double. 3 players for Reading in double figures. Leading all scorers is Justin Hopkins with 20 points, a perfect 6 of 6 from the stripe, as you see one of Matt Newman's 3-pointers dropping. And Mitch Clark, just like in the National Cup final when he had that triple-double, 14 points, 12 assists and 10 boards, is flirting with a triple-double here as well. 16 points, 7 assists and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, they've had some really impressive plays. You know, Mitch is very crafty guard to guard, you know. He'll hit those threes. You almost rather give up a layup in that situation than give up that three at the end of the quarter. But Hopkins, you can see, he wants the ball. Every time he's down the floor on offense, he's looking to get a post up if he's got a smaller guard on him. When the shot goes up, he's going hard for those rebounds, so you can't fall asleep on him either.
Clark, who struggled last week in the 90-89 loss over the Milton Keynes Breakers. He was 0 of 5 from downtown, 6 points. He did get 7 assists, but 3 of 12 from the field. He's responded superbly here in front of a raucous sellout crowd in Hemel. 5 of 11 from the field, 16 points, 7 assists and 6 boards here tonight, as Reading will get us underway momentarily in the fourth period. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. We're in for a bumpy ride. Can Hemel complete a 24-point miracle comeback, or can Reading maintain their advantage?
That Hemel defense is coming in real aggressive, denying Hopkins the ball.
Olarerin loses it, and so does Newman, but a foul quickly called. That's on Poorman, And that's 4 fouls very quickly on Zane Borman. So Zane Borman in foul trouble.
That's a big defender for Reading getting in foul trouble right there.
Zane Borman, who had 15 points, 13 boards, 11 of assists 2 weeks ago against the Bradford Dragons, had 12 assists against Milton Keynes, but so far just 3 assists and 7 points and 4 fouls tonight. Newman, Ellis inside. And the Sangu wise not to commit the foul. That would have been him fouled out if he did. Clark. Olarerin on 18 points. Inside, the finish from Portman. Monkman. Newman to Ellis. Motton. Good recovery there from Clark.
Looking for that mismatch inside.
Ellis a 3. Rattles in and out. Silla collects the loose change.
Bit off balance there.
Yeah.
Don't think you're going to get the foul call when you're fading away, but it was a good putback.
Clark a 3 at the top. In and out. Big rebound. Hopkins. No good. The Sangu look to fight for it, but Monkman comes up with it. Newman a 3. And both teams throwing bombs, but it's not going in at the moment.
Still keeping that 9-point lead though. Reading have not pulled away.
Clark drives inside too strong. He gets his own rebound, and Hopkins throws it down. And a pass there finds Silla somehow, and rebounded by Clark. Here is Hopkins, putting the moves on Monkman. Olarerin, the catch and shoot, buries it. 3 3-pointers for Victor Olarerin. And all of a sudden, it's a 14-point lead.
Yeah, Hemel's had a couple offensive possessions. They haven't quite been able to finish. That defensive energy's gone down.
Newman wide open, money. It seems though everything Hemel throw, Reading have an answer. Olarerin on the spin, almost ran out of bounds as Newman has it.
Oh, tip.
Good tip from Olarerin, who has it back, and that'll be a goaltend on Newman.
Pretty sure the ball has hit the backboard first for it to be a goaltend.
As we see here on the replay, Olarerin clearly came off the backboard last. As Nelson Henry and Veronese check in, Akeem Silla and Trent Monkman head to the bench. Trent Monkman only 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting tonight as well. Someone who had, a team high 23 points in the National Cup final between these two teams.
Seems that maybe they're struggling a bit against this zone that Reading's putting in them.
Motton, Nelson Henry, muscles his way inside. Good defense from the Sangu, especially on 4 fouls.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's looking to get that foul call inside there, but you've got 4 players on Reading sinking the zone in when you've got the ball inside.
The Sangu wanted a foul. Motton can't hang on, and he heads right into the Hemel front row. You can see Samit Nurizadeh and assistant coach Ben Fisher shouting, barking instructions to the men in red. Well, you can't argue with the fact that it's been action-packed, can you, in this second half? It's been an absolute roller coaster ride, hasn't it?
Well, Reading's starting to grow that lead again, so Hemel's got to start to respond here quickly. 6.5 minutes left in the game.
Hemel, with their unbeaten league record, under threat. Can Reading be the one in 16-1? Hopkins is fouled. And Justin Hopkins will go to the foul line. That's a third foul on Veronese. 22.7 rebounds for Justin Hopkins tonight, as he matches his tally against Milton Keynes last Sunday.
I'm going to say that slash to the rim, that defensive rotation there is just a bit too late. It's really putting Hemel in trouble here.
As Hopkins makes the second. Of course, no matter what happens tonight, Hemel will stay top of the table. And Reading will get a much needed win, but there's still a lot to play for as Motton has it. 4 to shoot. As Ellis puts up a baseline jumper, that's no good.
That was a good extra find there, finally kicking the ball out a little bit.
Just need that offensive execution. Reading shooting 49% from the floor. Olerarin, Portman to Hopkins. Shot clock at 3. Olerarin, corner pocket, buries it. Timeout, Mark Clark.
Those Reading players they're finding each other really well there. They almost aren't even looking at those passes that they're given. When Hopkins drove, dished it to Portman. Portman already knew Olerarin was in the corner.
And the Reading fans behind us on their feet, led by the Johnson family, who have led this Reading Rockets franchise for over 25 years and have an incredibly loyal fan base. And right now they're loving what they're seeing as Victor Olerarin there hitting the 3 and letting the Hemel fans know what time it is. 93-75, and it's been a fantastic judge of character for the Reading Rockets, who had their lead trimmed to 9 points in the latter stages of the third period. But Reading, just like they did in the early stages of the third period, have come out and have responded, and now they lead 93-75.
Yeah, compared to the last couple times these teams faced off against each other, you got the same players from Reading that are putting up big numbers. So, I mean, those adjustments defensively, it's kind of tricky when you've got a crafty guard and Clark hitting threes, going to the rim. You've got Hopkins going hard to the rebound, and Olerarin pushing that fast break.
Olerarin with 26 points, now leading all scorers for Reading, inserted into the starting lineup just like he has for the last 2 other games, or now the last 3 games if you count tonight. Newman. Of course, Olerarin, a first-year Reading player, played at Essex Rebels last season. Newman a 3, much needed score for Hemel. 2 ex-Essex Rebels players now with 3-pointers on back-to-back possessions. Olerarin slapping to the hoop. Champion. And Hopkins will slow it down. 8 to shoot, drives inside, no good. Ezzy, Newman. Inside Nelson Henry, the extra pass, and Ellis is fouled. Even though Olerarin has his hands up, in fact, he will be adjudged that call. Nasangu was also close to it. And there'll be 3 fouls on Olerarin. From here, it did look like Nasangu was the closest person, but referees were in a much better position than we were, as Ellis hits the first.
Nasangu on 4 fouls, so he's got to be much more conscious of that. Still 4 minutes to go.
Yeah. Matt Ellis to the foul line for his second attempt. 6 of 8 now from the stripe. Make that 7 of 9. He now moves on to 21 and 6. On the last few possessions, Darian Nelson Henry picked up his double-double of 14 points 10 boards. Here is Clark, who's flirting with a triple-double. 16 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. Oleraren's pass is wayward, but he still has it. Shot clock at 6. Oleraren misses the 3, another offensive rebound, and the Sangu is fouled. That is offensive rebound number 15 for the Rockets.
That is making a big difference right here.
As we see the replay, the second chance opportunity is Nsangu fouled by Ezi. It was close to being Nelson Henry as well, but the whistle had gone after that.
I mean, even if they're not scoring off of those offensive rebounds, the fact is they're taking away longer time for possessions that Hemel could have here in this game. So.
And a good person for Hemel to foul in time. Nsangu, 52% from the charity stripe. He has got it over 50% in the last month or so. He started the year 47% from the stripe, so he has improved from the charity stripe in 2025, misses them both. Certainly a player who works on his free throw attempts, as Newman has it. Finds Ezi, that's off the back iron. And Oleraren jumps over the 6'11" Darian Nelson Henry. And here is Clark. Horman, methodical. Pressured by Newman. Gives it up to Oleraren. 6 to shoot. Oleraren to the hoop. Just that quick second step and just absolutely explodes.
You're not going to get much help there from the weak side there. You've got a couple
and
of
Ellis throws it down.
Way to respond.
Yeah.
Still got 3 minutes to play.
Ellis punching it home. Clark. 16 points for him tonight. And a foul on Darian Nelson Henry. He's now fouled out. That's him done. 5 fouls for the former Leicester Riders icon. 14 points, 10 boards, but his night is done. With 3:10 remaining, that is huge. You know, Hemel is still in this, 95-82, but that's a big, big, big decision.
Definitely a big impact on them for whoever's going to be defensively rebounding here. Got to put a lot more effort into that.
Jack Burnell into the game, so Hemel now going small. Hopkins to the hoop. And that would have been a huge three-point opportunity had that had gone in. Instead, he'll go to the line. And that is Matt Ellis, or that is Veron Ezi's evening done. He fouls out. All 5 fouls picked up in the second half for Veron Ezi. And he will check out. 9 points, 4 rebounds for him tonight. Matthew Dizu will come in.
I mean, that move just seems to be hard to guard right now. Hopkins slashing in from the wing. He's got quite a few fouls drawn from doing that.
Hopkins just about misses the first. Hear the noise reverberating around the StormDome. Hopkins makes the second. Motton a 3 from the wing off the back iron.
It's a rebound for Hemel.
And Newman launches and misses. Horman now. Time on Reading's side. Oleraren.
Reading using the clock right here.
Clark inside, doesn't get it to fall. Motton comes up with it. They need quick scores. Newman. Dizu. on the spin. Benel deflected by Olarerin, right in front of the Hemel fans, roaring as he puts that out of bounds.
They have kept that defensive energy this whole game, so why stop now? Still 2 minutes left to play.
And Reading have, even though they've committed 10 turnovers, they've kept it down here tonight. As Dizu goes inside, a wild layup attempt is off, and Portman collects his 8th rebound and goes all the way, blocked by Dizu, and away come Hemel. Motten, Ellis punches it home. Reading timeout, 1:55 remaining, 84-96 to the Rockets, and you can see assistant coach Ben Fisher pushing the Rockets players quickly to the bench. Hemel not out of this, and they're letting Reading know about it as well.
I mean, you could look at this game, see a 12-point difference and 2 minutes left and think, you know, that's something you can't come back from, but a couple threes, it could be a different game in 30 seconds. So I think we've still got an exciting match all the way to the end of this buzzer.
Well, the action thick and fast here in Hemel, 1v2 in a 1 in a million weekend, we're calling it, where 3rd are playing 4th, 5th are playing 6th, and 7th are playing 8th. Milton Keynes Breakers getting a 90-82 win over the Loughborough Riders. Derby Trailblazers with a 65-60 win over the Bristol Hurricanes. And in overtime, City of Birmingham Rockets getting a 106-105 win over the Newcastle Knights. Martin Gale draining a 3 with 8 seconds left to put Newcastle to the sword. Newcastle will play Worthing tomorrow, and Worthing will need a big win in the Northeast. They lost to the Bradford Dragons 95-83 in a relegation scrap in Yorkshire. And Essex beating the London Cavaliers 90-82, but it's first v second here, and Reading have the advantage, 1:45 remaining with Clark.
It's going to be key here for Hemel to limit Reading to 1 shot, no offensive rebounds.
Hopkins under the hoop, puts it up, doesn't get it to fall. Burnell rebounds, but it's turned over. Portman with a massive steal. Less than 90 seconds left, and the finish line is in sight for the side from Berkshire. Inside the dagger basket from Hopkins. Silence befalls Hemel as Motten has it. Bit too much handle, and Clark has it. The lob, and it'll be patted away by Newman, and Clark immediately puts his hand up. Samet Nurizadeh shouting why to Mitch Clark. Inside, and the finish, yes, and the foul. Back-to-back scores for Justin Hopkins, and that is that.
That is a tough basket.
Justin Hopkins going inside. That'll be the first foul on Matthew Dizu. And Reading are all set with 1:01 remaining to end the streak of the Hemel Storm on home floor. And if it comes down to it, and this is something we've not mentioned, if it comes down to it, Reading have the head-to-head, or will have the head-to-head if it stays like this, because Hemel, who won in Loddon in November, won by 6 points.
Yeah, that is something to think about.
Yeah.
When you're playing these matches. If you go head-to-head with one team, you got to think about, even if you're going to lose this game, how much are you going to lose it by? You can't give up, especially if you know the point difference is too great to kind of...
Ooh. Hemel still have the advantage, though, in the league table as Matt Ellis punches that shot out of bounds for a block, even though the whistle had gone.
I wonder if he used to play volleyball. It's quite a spike right there. Never know.
Second
career.
Second career maybe for Matt Ellis. Out of frustration, no doubt, as Victor Olorerin, a 71% foul shooter for the season, averaging 14 points so far this season. Averaged 17 points for Essex last season. Heads to the line. But even though Hemel have the advantage in the league table, this will be a damaging loss for them mentally, and it's all about how can they respond now as we enter the final stretch of the season. They do have some important fixtures coming up, so do Reading, as the race for the title, you could say, hits a little bit of a twist as Motton hits a three from the corner. Reading will improve to 14-4. They will stay in second place. Hemel, with this one loss, will move to 16-1. As Matt Ullman will check in, Taina Sangu will head to the bench. Of course, coming up on March 2nd for Reading, a home tie against the Loughborough Riders, as Victor Olorerin misses the first. And equally for Hemel, they've got a tough run in as well. They play Milton Keynes on March 1st. That'll be a huge game at Bletchley, as Matt Ellis puts in a two. And a quick steal, and Hemel will get the ball back. 30.6 seconds to go. Jack Bonnell, a veteran, 9 seasons strong with the Hemel Storm, not giving up.
This is a type, I mean, even if the game's gonna get over and they're gonna lose here, you know, this is a chance to keep executing in a high pressure situation for when these teams probably see each other again.
Well, many basketball fans from the NBL have said that this will be, as Ellis hammers it home, this could be the two teams that will meet again in Manchester for the playoff final. Obviously, there's a long way to go in the season, and there's a lot of other teams that will have their say. But on this night, Reading will get their second win of the season over the Storm. And in big game situations, it must be said, as the game is just prolonged a little bit, as Victor Olorerin will go back to the line. And he hits the first. It's been a tight fourth quarter in most respects. It's 25-21 in Reading's favour. However, a strong first half has led them to victory here tonight. Burnell, as Isaac Spurrier into the game for the final seconds. Burnell puts up a three. It's short. And Dizu won't get it to fall. And that will do it. A good win for the Reading Rockets, their fans on their feet. A good win for them tonight. No matter what, the Hemel Storm will stay top, but a morale-boosting victory for Reading here tonight.
They came out really strong, right? In the first quarter, that's going to set the difference in this game. So they came out, they were ready to play. Their defense did really well.
As the Reading players come up and give fist bumps to myself and Lindsay on the table. 30 points each for Justin Hopkins and Victor Olorerin tonight. Big showings for them. Hopkins 1 rebound shy of a double-double. Victor Olorerin 4 of 6 from downtown. Those were the main distributors points-wise here tonight. But a great win for the Reading Rockets on a very raucous, sold-out crowd here in Hemel.
Hemel did try to bring it back though quite a bit. That second half, that third quarter, their defense did respond. They couldn't break that 9-11 point lead that Reading had. So.
Well, Reading led by as many as 24 points. They did have the lead trimmed to 9. Matt Ellis led the way for Hemel with 30 points. 3 players tonight scoring 30 points. However, it's all about the Rockets here tonight. They have overcome the Storm and have won 105-93. A fantastic showing from the visitors. They will stay in second place, but the league table and the race for the league title does take an interesting turn after tonight. My thanks to Lindsay Cleary. I've been John Hobbs. Thank you so much for joining us here at the StormDome on NBL Live. But for now, have a pleasant evening wherever you are. Goodbye for now.